Welcome. So today I'm going to show you how to get into your yogi squat and walk you through a flow that's going to help to deepen your squat. If you haven't seen me before, I'm Leah from Lakora Yoga, and I help beginner yogis get confident on the mat and reach their yogi goals. If you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button down below and the bell notification to get notified every time a new class comes out. So let's get squatting. So let's come to the top of our mat, feet hips distance apart, standing in Tadasana pose. Just take an inhale and an exhale here, just centering yourself before we move on. Okay, let's inhale, sweep the hands up above your head. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, lengthen the spine, folding forward, releasing the upper back. Just let your upper body relax here for a moment. Bend your knees as much as you can so that your belly comes onto the thighs so you can really relax. Maybe shake the head yes and no, check that your neck's released. And placing your fingertips onto the mat, lift up your right leg and step it all the way back. Lower the right knee so you're coming into a low lunge. Lengthen through the spine here. Fingertips can still be on the floor or on your leg. Left knee comes back to meet the right. Plant the hands, hover over your hands. Keep the elbows in. Lower chin and chest. Come through. Baby cobra. So your chest is lifted, but your belly is still on the mat. Ground down through your toes. Push back up onto your knees. We're going to keep the toes together. Bring the knees wide, maybe as wide as the mat. Sit your bum back, come into a child's pose. So reach your hands out in front and lower your head to the mat. Now we're going to come into a few variations of a squat. And if you notice the way that your legs are right now, it's kind of in that squat position. So what I want you to do is leave your elbows on the floor where they are, but bring your upper body up so your bum lifts. And just stay here for a moment and just see how this feels on your hips, on your legs. It's great to find out whereabouts in your body you might be feeling a little bit tight. Then see if you can bring your ankles in line with your knees. And then sit your bum back a little bit. So now your bum is coming in between your legs. And again, just see here where it might feel tight. And it's okay if you're still staying up high. Just see how low you can reach your hips back. This is where we find out what we need to work on. Take nice deep breaths. And then bringing your upper body back up. Just come up onto your hands, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Maybe bicycle out the legs here a little bit if you need to. Just loosen the knees. We never want to be feeling any pain in these poses, so if you do, come up out of them. Bending your knees, look towards the top of your mat. Bring the right leg in between your hands, lower the left knee. Low lunge on the other side. Again, you can come up onto your knee if you need to, or you can keep your fingers on the ground. Just lengthen through that spine. Push into them hips a little bit, so you should be feeling a nice stretch. Starting to open them legs for your squat. Tuck the toes of your left leg. Do a few little rocks. Bring your knee up. And bring your left foot up to meet the right in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the spine. Look forward slightly. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Bend the knees even more. Sweep the hands all the way up above your head. Hands come together. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward, plant the hands. Left foot is going to step all the way back, but stay in a high lunge this time. So keep that knee up off the ground. Inhale, raise your arms up above your head. Hold it here. Bring your hands down to your hips. Plant the left heel down and turn the right toes towards the long side of your mat. So now both of your toes should be facing towards the long side of the mat. Feet nice and wide. Inhale, look up slightly. Exhale, folding forward. Release the hands. Hands can come to the ground. Just release the whole upper body. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hands come to the hips. Exhale, come all the way up. Keeping your toes where they are, bring your heels in slightly. So now your toes should be pointing to the corners of the room. Bend into your knees, goddess pose. So again, you want to sit as low as you can here. Hands can be on your knees. Try to push your knees backwards so you're opening up the front of the body here. Try to keep length in your spine so you're not arching forward. You're trying to keep your body upright. Come back up, shake the legs out a little bit. And lower back down, goddess pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up above your head. Exhale, right hand comes to right knee, left hand comes over, side stretch. You can stay looking forward or you can look up to that top hand. It's completely up to you and how your neck feels today. Inhale up, exhale, side bend over to the left. Again, try to push them knees backwards. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs, shake them out, come to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Right leg steps all the way back. Again, stay in that high lunge. Inhale, arms up. Next, exhale, hands come down to the mat, frame that foot, left foot steps back, plank pose. Chaturanga, either lower the knees or come forward halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Up dog is just your hands and your feet on the mat. Roll it over, downward facing dog. Now we're going to bend the knees, look towards our hands. We're going to jump to the top of the mat, but we're going to jump with the feet wide. So take a nice big inhale. As you jump, the feet come to the outside of the hands. So it's like you're going to come into your yogi squat. So find out here where you feel comfortable. If you are up here, stay here. Your toes are pointing out towards the sides. If you can come down into your yogi squat. Holding it for a breath. Plant the hands, come back up, jump back to downward facing dog. Hold it here. Bend the knees if you need to. You can always step back as well. If you find the jumping's too much, just step to the top of your mat and lower back down and step back to downward facing dog. Again, bend the knees, look towards the top of your mat. Inhale, as you exhale, jump or step, yogi squat. If you can get all the way down into your squat, use your hands to push your elbows out into your knees, so you're opening up the knees a little bit more. Coming back down, either step or jump to downward facing dog. One more time, bend the knees, look in between your hands. Step or jump outside of the mat. Yogi squat. This time we're going to stay in our squat, high or low. It doesn't matter whereabouts you are. You can be up here. If you are further up, just stay working on lowering down into that squat. If you can, sit your bum back. I want you to lean forward as much as you can. So bring your hands up in front. Just come back a little bit so you can see. Round the back. Reach your fingertips as far as they can go and just breathe here for a second. Lengthening back through the spine. We're going to come to a seated position, so you can rock back. If you are higher up, just lower all the way down until you come onto your bum. Bring the legs out in front, just give them a little shake. Let's open the legs wide. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, see how far you can lean forward. Now you might not lean forward very much at all. If you feel like your spine is rounding, even when you're just sat normally without leaning forward, bring your hands behind, lengthen through your spine. Hopefully, once you do this, you will be able to feel a stretch in the legs. If you have your towel about, or anything that you can prop yourself up on, you can sit on the edge of a blanket or a pillow and it'll just help to tilt the pelvis forward, give you a little bit more space. So wherever you can until you feel some kind of stretch. And then walking your hands back up. If you're sat on any props, you can remove them out the way. Bring your knees back together. Grab behind the thighs. And we're going to do a couple of rolls. So we're going to round the back. We're going to roll backwards, roll back up. Roll backwards and back up. Roll backwards and back up. Now the next time you roll back up, I want you to try and get into a yogi squat. See if you can roll into a squat, roll it back, back up. See if you can get into that squat position. The more you do the yogi squat, the better at it, the deeper into it you are going to get. And the next time you come back up into a squat, and you can be high as well. So don't even, if you're rolling forward and you can't even get into the squat, just keep working on rolling back and rolling forward, and eventually you might find enough momentum to do it. If you need to be in a higher squat, just come up into a higher squat now, because you can still do this next move. So while we're in our squat, hands together, elbows pushing the knees out. We're going to bring the left arm down. So your left arm is straight, your fingertips are in line with your feet. The right arm is going to open. It's a little bit of a side stretch here. Now if you were up higher, you can still do this. Elbow on knee, reach the right hand up. There's always different variations. And if you're ever struggling with any of these poses, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. And back to the center, push them knees out. Right hand comes down to the ground, left arm up. Again, if you're up higher, just put your elbow on your knee. And coming back down, hands together. Release the hands, come onto your bum. And roll down till you're laying on your back. So let's cross the knees as if we're sitting on a chair. Feet are off of the mat, but just cross your knees over. Bring your arms out to a T. Drop your knees over to the left and stay looking up to the ceiling. If this feels quite a lot, you can have some props underneath your knees to keep them up, or you can just put your legs together and drop them both over to the side. Just makes it a little bit deeper when you cross your legs. We've been doing so much hip opening. It's just nice to work on the extensors now as well, turning it inwards, rotating it inwards instead of outwards. And back up to the center. Switch the cross of your legs and cross them over to the right. So as you're turning to the right, your left leg should be the one that was on top. Gives it a little bit more stretch all down the outer hip and glutes area. And bring it back up to the center. Just hug both of your knees in. Just do a few circles, keeping your knees together. Just do a few circles on that lower back. And then place your feet flat on the ground. Heels quite close to the bum. And let's come up into bridge pose. So stay looking up to the ceiling. We're going to inhale, lift the hips. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades under slightly. But stay looking up to the ceiling. Lift those hips as high as you can. Make sure you're breathing. And slowly lower your bum back down. Hug the knees in again. Take any last little movements you need to here before we come into our final resting pose in Shavasana. So take the legs out long, feet flop open, arms come by the sides. Close down the eyes. Take a nice big inhale through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. And come back to your natural breath. Just let your body relax for a couple moments. Just know that everybody's bodies are different. The more we work on something, the more knowledge, the more flexibility, and the easier the pose becomes. Just slowly wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe taking a big stretch up overhead, pointing the toes. And rolling over onto one side. And slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position. Inhale the arms up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands together. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to listen to your body, because your body's needs can change from day to day. So just make sure that you're being careful and you're listening. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. And if you'd like to work with me further, I will leave the details below in the description of my new course that's out to help you get more flexible and reach your yoga goals. And I will see you soon.